This is, of course, out of Silicon Valley. And this is a company that wants to basically take over taxis all over the world and has made significant inroads to doing so. So here we have a story, Uber's big problem. It's a zombie corporation that can't make any money. Analysts are questioning Uber's viability. Many are concerned it will never make a profit. There is too much competition. Uber wants to become the Amazon of everything transportation related. But a key question remains, can Uber ever make a profit? In Uber's vision of the future, most people won't own cars. Riders will hop on electric bikes and scooters for short distances and summon cars with drivers for longer rides. Take-out dinner will become a vestige replaced by hand-delivered meals, and garages will empty and parking lots will be ripped up and transformed into grassy parks. Whoever wrote that, I mean, do they really believe it? Eventually, robots will rule. Self-driving cars will shuttle people around the roads and in the air, while drones will make the deliveries, robo-trucks will roam the highways, and Uber will be the center of it all. Now, that paragraph is absolutely right, and it brings us to the real reason that Uber exists. There is a real red flag to watch for. And that's when companies, and invariably they're connected to Silicon Valley, do two things. First of all, they don't make a profit for a very, very, very long time. So the money to prop them up is coming from somewhere, and it's enormous in terms of sums. The other thing is that while the companies are not making a profit, losing vast amounts of money and being propped up from whoever, they are using that, the fact that they don't have to make money in the initial periods, to destroy the opposition that do have to make money to survive. You saw this classically with Amazon. Losing money year after year after year after year, destroying the independent book publishing market, which did have to make a profit, thus couldn't compete. And then once they get domination and near monopoly, they then start censoring books you can read and books that can exist or not exist, and circulate and not circulate. And with Uber, which doesn't make a profit and doesn't need to because it's propped up, they are destroying transport systems and taxi firms around the world because of a much greater agenda, which those funding them are absolutely knows coming and are planning for it to come. Uber, as it exists now, with these drivers that use their own vehicles as taxis, that is not how Uber is meant to end up. That's just the interim period that allows them to destroy other taxi firms and transport companies in their money no object expansion. The Uber plan, blueprint, is for no driver cars. Uber's being set up to run driverless transport, which that second paragraph in that story indicated. Absolutely, that's the plan. So it's not about making a profit in the current business model, if you like. That's just destroying the opposition. It's being the dominant out of Silicon Valley devil's playground force in global transportation. That's why money's no object. And you can't understand Uber unless you understand that fact. And this week, talking of Uber, we've had protests around the world by Uber drivers about the way they're treated. Uber drivers protested around the world on Wednesday. It was a spirited, though largely unquantifiable, demonstration against what they see as disgracefully low wages, poor job security, and an unacceptable lack of benefits. Above all, though, it was a rallying cry against the expanding gulf between their lives and the lives of those who will become unfathomably rich when Uber makes its stock market debut on Friday. I have no problem with the company making money, said Eddie Wheeler, an Uber driver for almost 3 years. What I have a problem with is the way they made it. They made the value off my back and the backs of every driver. People like Mr. Wheeler have little collective power. They cannot unionize, though there are some emerging groups trying to help represent the needs of, quote, gig workers, albeit without a real seat at the negotiating table. And the efficacy of this kind of action is also held back by the very issue they're fighting against. Many drivers simply can't afford to take the time off to join. Still, drivers are doing what they can to make their voices heard, as well as those protesting in person on Wednesday. A number more said they plan to contribute by turning off their apps for a set amount of times, in some cases as long as 24 hours, in an attempt to limit the number of drivers out on the road and make it harder for customers to get a ride. So the reason they're treating their drivers with such contempt is the drivers are not an end, they are a means to an end to destroy the opposition. And now they're going public, they'll raise a lot more money and the whole thing will move on. I mean, when you have a company like Uber that's losing money year after year after year, why would you invest in it? Because you know where it's leading. And where it's leading is what I've just described. Another related story this week, my brother Paul sent me. 25-ton self-driving trucks to be tested on British roads for the first time. 25-ton self-driving trucks. Self-driving trucks that could help to speed up roadworks are being tested on Britain's highways for the first time. A 25-ton autonomous truck capable of moving huge amounts of earth without human supervision will take to the roads on a stretch of the A14 between Cambridge and Huntingdon as part of a trial by Highways England. First of all, this is not a trial. Trials are when you test something and you decide if it works or not. This is not a trial. This is the foot in the door to introduce, in the end, total driverless vehicles, eventually banning driver vehicles. That's where it's leading. And Highways England has given us smart motorways. Smart motorways which are fundamentally dangerous because they employ as a lane to use at high speed the safety lane, what's known in Britain as the hard shoulder, where before vehicles, if they were in trouble or broke down, could go to the hard shoulder and then be bypassed at high speed by all the other vehicles coming down the occupied lanes. Now they're introducing these smart motorways. Note the name smart because it's all smart, part of this smart grid. These smart motorways now employ the hard shoulder. So when you break down, you've got no escape from vehicles coming behind you at high speed. That's why people have been killed by being hit from behind when their cars break down. They've got no way of getting away. And if you go to the website, you'll find a an interview with my brother, who's Paul, who's decades and decades and decades long, in fact, lifelong bus mechanic, who goes out every day repairing buses on the side of the road, not least motorways. And he's talking about the dangers of smart motorways, which, although they've killed people, and they're a fraction of the motorway network currently, but it's meant to be the whole network. Although they've killed people in the limited areas that they're operating currently, they've now announced they're going to expand them because it's part of an agenda, just like Uber, just like all of it. The trucks capable of carrying a load of 40 tons can be programmed to remotely follow a predetermined route along roadwork sites and can detect and avoid obstacles like other vehicles along the route as they drive. Well, funnily enough, a human driving the fricking car and the vehicle, the truck, and holding the wheel can do that. What are all these people? Unbelievable numbers of people worldwide who are going to be thrown out of work that are currently in driving transport jobs. What are they going to do to pay the rent? The aim is to reduce the amount of time that roadwork improvements take by enabling trucks to work around the clock, as well as cutting the risk of road workers being involved in incidents on site. I love it. We're taking your job away to protect you. And by the way, we so care about safety, we're making the hard shoulder a lane for high-speed vehicles to go through. It's a scam. It's an agenda. And most of the people introducing it will have no idea of the world they are creating for their children and grandchildren. Here's another thing. Microsoft introduces Election Guard software to modernize voting. So now we're having Microsoft, a massive hidden hand company, it's going to look after you voting. And, they'll be very accurate. I'm sure they will. Facebook now demands that you hate targeted people, or you will be banned too. We have now reached the point of total insanity when it comes to the extreme censorship of the tech giants in what actor Rob Schneider calls a real-world Orwellian nightmare. Facebook has now issued a gag order on 2.2 billion users, demanding that they must hate certain selected individuals who are named as targets of censorship. Those individuals include Paul Joseph Watson, Laura Loomer, Louis Farrakhan, and others, including Alex Jones. From this point forward, you are only allowed to post content from these individuals if you express hatred towards them in your Facebook post. This is mandatory hate speech by Facebook. That's how insane all this has become, and which is why this writer says, I've openly announced that every nation on earth must declare war against big tech or be destroyed by it. That's exactly the situation we are facing. And again, been warning about it for so long. And now it's here. Another tech story, eavesdropping on housemates' gossip, recording details about insurance policies and a bizarre obsession with the family dog. Mail Online reveals just how much Alexa is listening to day-to-day lives. Oh, I didn't know it was going to do that. Oh my God. A Mail Online investigation into how much personal information Alexa is recording and storing on its users has revealed the smart assistant eavesdrops on housemates' gossip, private conversations about insurance policies, and even the family dog. Amazon insists Alexa can only be activated when allocated a wake word is uttered, being Alexa, computer, or Echo. The tech giant, along with Apple's Siri, this technology, by the way, was seed funded by DARPA, the Technological Development operation of the Pentagon. The tech giant, along with Apple's Siri and until recently Google's Assistant, says it saves every single interaction a person has with the device to improve the service, because we care about you, that's why we're doing it. With some unintentional snippets also being recorded if it mistakes another noise for a wake word. Oh, God. However, evidence seen by Mail Online shows this cannot be the case, or the process is fundamentally flawed, as a host of sounds and conversations were recorded without a clear or legitimate wake word being uttered, some when there was not even a human nearby. Smart assistants are now commonplace in many homes because people are fast a frickin' sleep, but users remain unaware of the treasure trove of private data they store, and that they can access it themselves to hear what has been recorded from their own everyday lives. A Mail Online investigation into these secret archives has revealed an eerie snippet of users' friends, families and children being recorded while they were completely unaware and without a clear or legitimate wake word being uttered. One user found his Alexa repeatedly activated the record the same guest in the house gossiping about work colleagues, while another was recorded in a private discussion about their insurance policy and another about their dream job. Bizarrely, in one household, Alexa seems to have developed an obsession with the family dog, waking up 13 times to record it barking. Well, I do see a way out of this. If you don't want your conversations recorded by tech giants that are all in the end owned by the same people to the same psychopathic end, then throw it in the frickin' dustbin, in the trash can. Get rid of it. What do you need it for? How did you cope before? Oh, what's the latest thing? Yeah, to control you. What can we do about it? No. What do you want to do about it, and what do you not want to do about it? That's the real question. Well, I don't want to throw my Alexa away. Well, don't complain the fact that your lives are being recorded then.